a plea uttered from a place of total, stripped down, emotionally naked vulnerability comes with powerful word energy to call into form our heart's truest desire. When I asked the universe to let me be love in every moment, I was led directly to the practice of conscious breath. This practice has changed virtually every facet of my life, giving me meaning, igniting my spark, healing stuck trauma energies, and blossoming a devotion for the preciousness of every fleeting moment by dropping me into a deeper awareness than I had ever known. When we can fully absorb a moment, we receive it from our natural state, which is open-hearted joy. The ordinary becomes sacred, and what I see is often psychedelic. I am such a devotee of conscious breath, so grateful for how it has elevated my time here that I want to share it with you. So first, what is this conscious breath work? How is it different from the breathing that we're doing all day long? Well, breathing is the only function in our bodies that can be done involuntarily, on autopilot, through the reptilian part of our brain, or we can do it consciously from our more evolved frontal lobes. Making the unconscious conscious within our brains does the same for our experiences. It wakes us up to drop us into the moments of our lives more fully. When we breathe on autopilot, we receive the air that sustains our physical bodies. Totally needed. But when we breathe consciously, we also inspire energy. In a vision, it was revealed to me that this is the greatest cosmic joke ever. We can either just breathe air or be simultaneously abundantly nourished by this spiritual energy that's all around us. Energy changes everything. This collective field of infinite genius love energy that surrounds us, it's also in us. The noetic nature of conscious breath makes this collective love energy experientially palpable and undeniable, connecting our physical forms to these energetic subtle bodies, our souls. So, conscious breathing is the mechanism to reliably connect with this energy that becomes the ongoing conversation with our own souls. Conscious breath, awareness, and elevated experiences are interconnected and reinforcing. I wanted to let you know there are many different types of breath work. All involve bringing a conscious focus to the experience, so it's not a one-size-fits-all practice. Tumo breath and holotropic breath are fast-paced. Pranayama breath is slow, but it uses a 1-2 punch technique. I'm devoted to a daily practice of the integrative breath that Leonard Orr introduced to the West. It's based on Kriya breathing that's been practiced in India since the Vedas. As great as conscious breathwork practice is when done solo, the energy amps up with someone holding the space, and it's exponential when done in groups. Now, a bit about what you can expect on a breathwork trip using the slow circular integrative breath. This is my friend Nick, and he's here to demonstrate. With breath, when you start to work with it as your own practice, it's always important to start as an inward journey. So what we're going to do today is we're going to have you lie down first, and we're going to have you close your eyes, because your breath will start the conversation with your own soul. No pillow. We want a wide open airway to suck in every drop of the energy. So take it in through your mouth. And first, I want you to just drop into your breath. Don't change the rhythm. Just really be with it. Through the mouth, you'll activate your internal energy and your feeling pathways by dropping out of your head and solely into your body. You'll be surprised at how much more of the elixir of life you can take in compared to your normal shallow breathing pattern. First, sucking into your belly, then expanding your rib cages out the sides, filling up your lungs, and then sucking that breath right up into your throat. Now that's a full breath. In the beginning of a session, even if you think you're full, be playful with it. Let's see if you can just take in a bit more, but don't get stuck in the technique. Let it become light, like a rhythmic kiss with the universe. If you do use a guide, their biggest intervention, which should be sparse, is to get you to suck in deeper if your breath reverts to a more shallow pattern. A slow suck, like a baby leisurely sucking from Gaia's breast. The breath should be circular, so once at the top, when you feel full, immediately just let that breath fall out. Slowly, no pushing, just a surrendered letting go. Just know that the breath will lead you to what you're ready for next. Breathwork journeys take time. They cannot be rushed. Just like exercise, after about 10 minutes, we often experience wanting to give up. That's resistance. Only when we stay beyond the resistance does the magic happen. Our default mode network, which is our ego and our brain, quiets down, and then we drop into our midbrains. This is our feeling center, and neuronal communication becomes exponential, like an orchestra signaling, instead of just a few neurons firing like a quartet in our default mode network. In our midbrains, soul messages are delivered from the symphony, and epinephrine is released, aiding in that transcendent high. It's like you're underwater with one foot in this world and another firmly planted in this mystical energy dimension where creation comes into form. According to Hindu texts, when breathing is so slowed that it's like you're being breathed, that state is called samadhi. Here, Nick has reached the deepest level of samadhi. Being fully aligned with his energy being, he has less need to consume energy through air. He's probably seeing images here. In samadhi, time bends, it's not Cartesian. That's why it's a good idea to set aside an hour for breath work. or set a timer. You need at least 30 minutes if you want to get deep. Once you're in the breath trance, your body knows what to do to be well, to calibrate your energy centers, your chakras, and our bodies hear and honor the impulses of our own souls. My hands often tingle and float upward. That's activated life force. To pull them down would require an effort that would bring me out. I might moan, laugh, grunt, cry, scream. My body is sometimes still, and at other times takes on all kinds of gyrations. For others, when deep, their breath may want to speed up for a bit. That's okay. There is no wrong experience as long as you are surrendering to what the soul has for you. Some trips, especially early on, are ascent trips. You go up. These trips often reveal universal truths through vivid imagery that rival psychedelic plant medicine. Or you might receive auditory downloads. Some folks get messages beyond words, just as powerful, at a somatic body level. In the very beginning, I often sprouted fairy wings that felt so real, and I flew around the universe spreading golden pixie dust for awakening. I remember driving home from an early breathwork session. I was giddy. I knew I had fairy wings. I knew I could fly. All right, that is the cool thing about breath. This energetic life force has led me to so many new encounters that when I looked back into the ancient literature, I found universal truths that supported my otherworldly experience. I've come to know that this wisdom sits quietly in our own spiritual DNA, just waiting to be surfaced by the stillness of awakened breath. Please, though, don't let my trips influence you. Your own soul has its own divine enchantments to share with you. That's why it's good to either have a professional breath worker or a trusted friend who really loves you, who knows how to hold the energetic container for your process and to be totally present for you, leaving their own ego at the door. As our hearts start to become more tender, more trusting, and more pliable, these stuck energies become like timid animals of the forest. They begin to peek out. As we trust the process and surrender to the experience, we can relax into the peace that conscious breath always affords us. And for the first time, we realize we can sit right in the cyclone of it. It only feels like a cyclone because we repressed that pain and we gave it power. And that power increases over the years inside of our bodies, and it inflates within our psyches. With breath, you'll feel the peace coexisting amidst the cyclone. My first descent trip happened at a group retreat during a rebirthing experience. My in utero experience was especially traumatic. And I could tell the story from an intellectual, disassociated place, but I never allowed myself to touch into any of the feelings surrounding it. In Samadhi, I heard the primal howls of what seemed like an animal caught in a trap. From that depth, I thought, wow, someone's really having a rough time with this. Then I realized it was me. Tears fell to the point that I could barely catch my breath. Yet, staying with the experience, using conscious breath, an amazing shift always happens. Love is always found on the other side that was waiting there all along. And we can actually begin to see our abusers as love would see them. At the time, I felt completely abandoned by the universe. But the truth that I know now is that I never was alone. Now, I can tell you that, but until you experience it for yourself, you are not going to be freed from your hurts and your fears. I realize as a psychologist, this is a strong statement. From my experience, there is no better way to fully heal from trauma than by using conscious breath to go into our bodies. I want to prepare you. Often, when stuck energy is present, folks will experience tetany, which is like contracted claw hands, and even entire limbs going numb. Like everything else, it's how you respond that's key. This trip called life is designed to teach us that we are always held by a benevolent universe, and relationally, there is never anything to fear. This soul conversation will woo you to drop all the fear, relinquish all control, surrendering fully to the plan of love. Now that might sound impossible or even scary. I get it. Good news is, there is no rush. It can take lifetimes to achieve. Have fun with the journey. With this practice, you'll experience for yourself that love is both unconditional and patient. Your heart will expand, forming a true love affair with yourself and with everyone, because everyone is the face of God. In your practice, if you don't restrict the time, your soul will lead you out when the shift is complete. How do you feel?
Good.
Can you share a bit about your experience?
Sure. There was some rage that left. And the reason I knew that is because it was very colorful.
What color was it?
All different colors. Reds and purples and blues. A lot of spikes. It just ran away like a dog.
How did it leave you?
I didn't want to be there.
Nice.
So it ran.
After it left, how did it feel?
Familiar. Almost like it was ready to leave, but it didn't take much.
What a great reminder, right?
Mm-hmm.
We don't have to carry that stuff.
Mm-mm. If you give it time, it will go if you allow it.
Allow it the space and the nurturance, I think, and the freedom, right?
Very true. The space.
Conscious breath work always brings insights. Off the mat, you'll notice your practice makes unconscious reactionary lifelong conditioned patterns become conscious. Now that's huge. What takes years in talk therapy can be downloaded experientially, creating immediate shifts and more harmony in your relationships. The vividness of our experience begins to overflow into an appreciation for life, exactly as it is. Life seems poetic to me most of the time. I still practice conscious breath almost daily, and with my rebirthing guide every other week religiously. I do so hope that I inspired you to get your bestie and give this a try with a beginner's mind, curious. And if you do, please leave me a comment to let me know how the experience landed on you. And if you stick with it, please share how your life is changing. I'll do my best to respond, and I love hearing how spirit works. I have set up a closed Facebook group to support each other in this awakening practice, should you choose to join. Blessings to all soul seekers as you start your own cosmic conversation. Till next time, may you drop in with causeless joy to the moments of your life. It's your birthright. Bye for now.